South Africa's President Jacob Zuma has confirmed that Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe is fine. He said this in a phone conversation that he had been confined to his home, but that he is faring okay. The president added that Mr. Zuma, in his capacity as the chair of the Southern African Development Community, was sending special envoys to Zimbabwe to meet with Mr. Mugabe and the Zimbabwean Defense Force, which has seized power in Harare.
The situation is concerning. I have also contacted His Excellency President Mugabe, whom I had time to talk to, and he is fine, but confined in his home. I've taken a decision to send an envoy to be able to contact the leaders of the Defense Force who have undertaken these operations, but also to meet with President Mugabe so that we have a more clear picture of what is happening in Zimbabwe. I am hoping that the Defense Force will not move and do more damage, that they will be able to respect the Constitution of Zimbabwe as well as the people of Zimbabwe, so that this situation does not go beyond the situation where it is now.
South African President Jacob Zuma. Let's talk more on this. And joining us in the studio is a political analyst, Yinka Oyeniji. Thank you for joining us on Network Africa.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Right. What do you make of the events in the last 24 hours in Zimbabwe?
All right, I'll speak from a place of hope, and that is that it will feel like a breath of fresh air, and that we are hoping that eventually there will be the change in government that Zimbabwe deserves. All right, it is disheartening to note that that president who power is being seized from right now is 93 years old. And just before I got in here, they were breaking reports that the sacked vice president, who is about 75 years old, may take over temporarily before we know where we are going from there. So for me, it was orchestrated. It's not the first time. It happened in 2007. It was just forward. It's happened again. It happened after the sacked vice president said he was coming back to seize power. And he indeed made good his trade within 24 hours. So for me, it's stage managed, it's planned properly. Let's see where we go from there. Of course, it's not over right now.
For the rest of the world, you know, Robert Zimbabwe has really overstayed, you know, his power. Okay. You know, his administration has been there for 37 years. But to the people, it's as if they love him to bits. You know, what
you have to again consider who you call the people. I mean, I see these things happen in Nigeria as well. Once you have a popular leader who's been there for quite a while and has consolidated his hold on different entities, it is easy for that leader to impose again and again. I'm not mentioning names, but it's a trend in Nigeria. What you find, the unrest starts when the stooge who has been empowered and put in place starts questioning the authority that put him there. So in Zimbabwe, I do not think the people are happy to be under the same man for 40 years. Over 70% of the population in Zimbabwe is poor. How can poor people want Mugabe to remain 37 or 40 years after? No, of course not. What has happened is that Zimbabwe has now broken into functions. You come in fighting the establishment, which was what Robert Mugabe did. He came in fighting the establishment, let's leave colonial rule. And then he now started showing up powers for himself. So in doing that, your corruption, of course, will be there. You have fundamental human rights abuses and all of that. Yet there will be those who will be loyal to you to death, who benefit from the continuous impunity there. So don't say to me that the citizens of Zimbabwe want Mugabe to remain. Of course not. 93 is well past death age. So if he dies, what happens? Won't they continue government? No. The majority of them who are poor do not want him. It's just that they can't do anything about it.
Well, who do you, think they would have wanted? Is it the sacked, vice president, or the rumored, person that we thought Robert Mugabe was going to hand over power to his wife, Grace?
Let's consider the factors, and then this should also teach us lessons in Nigeria, which was why I love to talk about this. All right, because whether we like it or not, if we don't put the necessary structures in place, the next 4 years Nigeria may just be smelling something close to this. Now, Mugabe's wife is 52 years old. She's one of the younger stock. The youth vanguard in the political party will dance towards having her as president. However, on the other hand, the sacked vice president, who is 75 years old, has always been a close ally of Mugabe. So he also has control of the military right now. So it's either you go for the sacked vice president, those who have benefited from the rule for 40 years, who want a slight change. It will be the same people. That means they are recycling leaders. If you have been vice president before and you are wife of the president who is being ousted, it means that the trend is that you recycle people. It won't be a change that can be obvious. It will just be a change in ranks, but not a holistic change. So what should happen in Zimbabwe? You see a lot of people are being cautious. They are saying, no, respect the constitution. What does respect for the constitution mean? Are you saying everybody wants Mugabe out, but nobody wants to lead what to take out Mugabe? At the same time, you are hoping, because whether they like it or not, whoever gets into office after tomorrow would be touted to be a legitimate government, no matter how short that government is going to be. But the people have not voted. So nobody is going to come out and say we don't recognize that government. The only thing they will be saying is that, oh, let us have elections shortly. So, well, we all want Mugabe out, but nobody wants to lead it.
Right, thank you so much for your thoughts on the situation in Zimbabwe. Public Affairs Analyst Yinka Oyeniji.
It's my pleasure, sir.
Still to come on the program. Political parties and their candidates are rounding off their campaigns as the Anambra election comes in just 3 days. Join us again.